Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, we'll get the latest from the state capitol, including any movement on budget talks. Also tonight, the results of a new poll on opioid abuse in Arizona. And the Maricopa Association of Governments marks its 50th anniversary. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Each week during the legislative session, we get an update on what's happening at the state capitol, rotating between Republican and Democratic leaders. Tonight, it's a Democrat's turn. We welcome Assistant Senate Minority Leader Steve Farley and Assistant House Minority Leader Randall Friese. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Great to be here. Great to be here.
All right, let's start with the budget because we had the governor on last night, and reading between the lines, I could tell he wants to see something happening here, and he's getting a little tired of waiting around. I'm guessing you're feeling the same way?
I think we're all feeling the same way around here because the longer we wait around, the more trouble we get into down at the Capitol. But sadly, I had a meeting with the president today, and it sounds like that the legislative Republicans and the governor are pretty far apart about a lot of issues right now.
Give me some basics. What are the bigger issues?
Well, the biggest issue, I think, is the university bonding proposal. I think a lot of the Republicans don't like the idea of borrowing more money, and I think a lot of the Democrats don't like the idea of taking state-shared revenues away from cities.
I think there's a little bit more to it, Steve, too. It's also the mechanism of the bonding debt service payments, the TPT shift that some people are uncomfortable with.
But again, I think the bottom line, as Steve mentioned, was that you're taking sales tax money that otherwise would go to cities and towns and sending them to the universities. In speaking with the governor last night, he said he couldn't quite understand why Democrats especially would not see this as a potential $1 billion windfall for universities. What's the problem here?
Well, certainly our universities need capital bonding to pay for new buildings, repairing some of the standing buildings that need attention. Certainly there's a return on investment when you invest in research and things like that. All those things are very positive. But I think it's a matter of getting people together and saying, what is this money being used for, and can we at some point talk about stabilizing tuition or reducing tuition?
And we do want the universities to get their funds because they've been cut by $2.5 billion by this majority and these governors since 2008. The problem is you don't take money from the cities who have also been struggling with cuts. You find a new way of funding our universities, and I think all of us are in support of that. But the governor has a track record of taking money away from other pots of money and giving it to other people instead of coming up with new revenues.
Can you take, what would Democrats think of taking some of that money away from this pot to put it into that one? In other words, find a compromise somewhere in between.
Well, I think the easy compromise is to take $6.5 million out of general fund money and be able to fund that with that portion of the program instead of taking it from the cities. And that's something that we would be glad to talk with the governor about, but sadly he's only talking to Republicans at this point.
But it's not just the Democrats that want to hold the cities harmless. There's a core group of Republicans that feel the same way.
Right. No, but I was speaking with the governor last night. He was especially concerned that the Democrats, well, and let's face it, Democrats usually like to see university funding and higher education funding, all education funding. Seeing a potential $1 billion here, I think his confusion was, why are you not stepping on board with this?
It's not a matter of stepping on board. It's being comfortable with the mechanism, being comfortable with where the funds are coming from, holding the cities and towns harmless, and of course supporting our universities in the most fiscally responsible way.
And another sticking point actually with the budget negotiations with Democrats and Republicans agree is the governor wants to take $90 billion away from our HERF funds, the gas taxes, and take them away from our roads and use them to balance his budget. We've done that a lot over the years, and I think there's now a bipartisan majority to say, no, don't take it away from our roads. We need to actually pay for our infrastructure with the money that's supposed to be dedicated for that.
How many rural Republicans have joined Democrats in opposing this move?
I think almost all the rural Republicans are opposed to that move, and that's one of the big sticking points right there. They're not going to be able to get them on board unless they do something about the HERF shift.
This sweep of highway funds in the House, what are you seeing over there?
Very similar. The rural members are very concerned and wanting to fund HERF at least at the same level we did 2 years ago.
Other big sticking points? What did you hear from the Senate President?
Well, teacher pay is another problem. The governor only proposes a 0.4% raise for teachers. That's $15 a month. I haven't met a single teacher that isn't insulted by that. I think we have seen actually a recommendation on the part of Republicans to do at least 1%, and those of us who are Democrats want to work with the Teachers of the Year and actually get a 4% increase to teachers, because 44% of our teachers leave after 2 years, and we have to do something to stem that crisis.
The governor looking at 2% raise, as you mentioned, 2% over 5 years.
Yes.
The House now came out with a budget outline, 1% raise next school year at about $34 million. Democrats on board with something like that?
Again, as Senator Farley says, this is a 1% raise, and when you get out to the 5th year, the governor's plan is actually better than that. So a 1% raise is not good enough. I stand with the teachers who are asking for a 4% raise. We have put together as a House minority, along with our senator colleagues, a plan to be able to get us there next year at $136 million.
Are you getting some support from any Republicans regarding that plan?
No.
None at all. What about the Senate? Any Republicans thinking that this could be possible?
Even though the budget is the most important document we put out, they don't include Democrats at this point. I think that makes the case as to why we might want to try some different governance after 2018.
The idea of an education voucher expansion, again, in speaking with the governor last night, he thought it was a great idea, a good opportunity for lots of options for parents. I know Democrats very much against this. Why? I mean, again, the idea of giving this money as a scholarship or a savings account, however, the verbiage just runs forever. But the idea of putting money into a family's coffers to use as they see fit for their kid, what's wrong with that?
94% of Arizona parents choose public schools for their children. This program would potentially take $5,400 per kid away from those neighborhood public schools and give it to people who don't necessarily even need it to pay for. Because even if you get $5,400 in the form of this debit card from the taxpayers to put towards the private school, you got to come up with the extra $10,000 to $15,000 for the tuition it costs yourself. And very few people in this state, very few parents can afford that additional money. So you end up with a divide between the haves and the have-nots, where the have-nots are paying for the haves.
I've heard from some Republicans who say, okay, you may not be able to get into the brightest, shiniest charter school out there with the $5,400. However, you might be able to get into a better school than the failing school your kid now attends. Do they have a point?
Well, charter schools are public schools. No, I don't believe they have a point. If we would appropriately fund our public schools, we can help those schools that are failing, and we can turn them around. But every time we continue to siphon money out of the general fund, which should be intended for our public schools, we are enhancing that very problem. Our Constitution insists that we create and maintain a system of public education that is general and uniform. And we aren't doing that when we continue to siphon money away with programs like ESAs and STOs. So we need to stop the flood of money out of our public schools and support them, reinvest, and restore public education.
Any more palatable that there is a cap on this particular program, as opposed to the original idea, which was no cap, just all kids take off and go?
Well, I warned the Republicans on the floor that this cap meant nothing. It could disappear with one line in the budget that's coming up and be gone. In fact, within minutes after the governor had signed this abomination of a bill, the Goldwater Institute crowed in a fundraising email that they will eliminate the cap. It was a horrible example of bad taste in politics when they released that, but it was also an example of truth. On their part, they're going to try to get rid of that cap, and they want all 1.1 million kids to be able to take this and gut our public schools more than we even have.
With that in mind, do you believe this was negotiated in good faith?
I certainly don't think that the Goldwater Institute intended to keep any faith there. And the negotiation wasn't between Democrats and Republicans. It was between Republicans and other Republicans.
I also think that the amendment is highly flawed. The amendment creates a system that is separate and unequal, meaning if you have a child in the district school, the standard traditional district school, and they transition to an ESA, they get less funding than a child who transitioned from a charter school. The amendment was designed to fix the problem that the fiscal note from Senator Lesko's original bill identified that children coming from district schools actually cost the general fund money, whereas the charter schools save the general fund money. When you do district to ESA or charter ESA, we are creating a system that is separate and unequal. And what parents then might do is funnel their child from a traditional school to a charter school and then to the ESA to get the extra money, and that will cost the general fund.
Okay. We've cut our public schools, the state support for public schools, by 21% since 2008. You can't cut, gut our public schools, and then put this in place, and then say you've got fair choice. The fact is, we've worked really, really hard to try to push for more funding. Our Teachers of the Year came out and said we need more funding, and then this is basically a slap in the face to our teachers, our kids, and our parents, instead of actually working on the
and let me just say that this bill, the ESA bill, is pure politics. It is not good policy. It came out quickly. The amendment came quickly. The second fiscal note came the night before. Next thing you know, the senators are on the floor with an hour to look at the amendment, and we were on the floor that afternoon. This was an example of nothing but politics.
Real quickly, before we go, the governor last night basically said, you got until 2021 here. The cap exists until 2021. Gradual increase, obviously, until then. But his idea, what he said, was that we'll take a look at it, see if it works, see how it works, and go from there. Does he have a point?
He wants to take 6 years out of a child's life and experiment with the most important foundation for their lifetime learning that they have. Don't experiment on our children, Governor.
Your thoughts?
Well, you know what? If you want, why not take a little bit more time and vet the bill? Give people a chance to look at the fiscal note. It was a 27-page amendment, a several-page fiscal note. Give us more time to digest and understand before we have to go on the floor and vote on the issue. We only had a number of hours. The senators had fewer hours, and I don't feel that we're properly vetting these bills. And again, it's not about good policy at all.
All right. It's good to have you both here. Thanks for
being
joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
This is Arizona Horizon. Stay with us as we look at poll results on concerns over opioid abuse in the state.
Your favorite PBS shows, ready to watch when you are. Anytime, any place. Find more ways to explore than ever before.
ASU's Morrison Institute and the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication have released a poll that focuses on opioid abuse in Arizona. And here to tell us about the survey is Morrison Institute Director Tom Riley. Good to see you again.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Now, this is a survey on prescription painkillers. What did you look at here?
Yeah, we sort of looked at, we defined prescription painkillers as opiates such as Percocet, Oxycontin, and Vicodin.
And with the prevalence of use, the prevalence of
We looked at
disabuse?
use, we looked at abuse and knowledge of other individuals, families, friends using it.
And the pervasiveness of the opioid crisis, I would imagine, obviously still there.
Yeah, I think the findings show that the widespread epidemic really manifests itself across a wide variety of demographics. And because we were able to track it with the Kaiser National Kaiser tracking poll, we seem to mirror national trends.
That's interesting. Let's look at some of the numbers here regarding how easy it is for folks to get prescription painkillers. 60% believe it's easy to get these things.
Now that can be both legally and through illegal means. So that means they could have gone to their doctor or gone to multiple doctors or have received it illegally by taking from a medicine cabinet or paying it illegally, in the community.
And that's even with efforts to regulate and restrict availability.
Yeah, I mean, particularly with all the media awareness around how addictive opiates are, we're still seeing just, the perception is it's very easy to get.
And another one of the graphics here shows that 4 in 10 know someone who's been addicted. That surprise you?
It is. It is. It's whether a close friend, an acquaintance, or family member. Again, these seem to mirror national trends on this epidemic.
Overall, I would imagine ongoing pain increases by age. Are we seeing the folks that are addicted or who are abusing or using these prescription painkillers increasing by age?
Yeah, you know, what I found very interesting is that about a third of the population in Arizona have indicated that they have experienced significant pain in the last, 3 months in the last year. 70% chronic pain, which means that's about 1 million Arizonans who are dealing and struggling with chronic pain.
Well, with that information out there, I mean, is it necessarily a bad thing that these folks are getting relief from their pain by way of prescription painkillers?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously some of that is very legitimate
Yes.
and very appropriate. And what we saw in here, about a third of those individuals are getting it through their prescription in a prescribed manner. Another third are looking at over-the-counter drugs. And then others are using alternative therapies, including marijuana, massage, acupuncture. Only about 17% were using exercise in order to deal with it. And I know they're trying to promote a lot of these alternative therapies.
6 in 10 believe that abuse of prescription painkillers makes heroin use more likely.
It was very interesting. So we have a legal, if it's prescribed, associating it with an illegal drug like heroin. And that probably goes a lot to the awareness that's out there about opiates and about how addictive they can become if overused.
There is awareness, but as far as doctors telling people about the risk of prescription painkillers, only 28% said that they have been warned by their doctors.
I thought what was even more interesting than that is that for those 65 and older, it was less than 17%.
Isn't that?
So we're dealing with an older populace that are actually not being informed by their doctors about the addictive nature.
So 28% warned by doctors of risk, I should say only 28%. And I think your study also had 8% have used without a doctor's okay.
Yes.
And as far as locking up medication, only one quarter are locking up medication.
And I think this is also interesting because if we go to those 65 and older, it is less than 10%. Now, obviously, they perhaps don't have children,
Sure,
but they have caretakers, they have, kids coming over, but that there are low percentages knowing that how addictive this drug is and how few individuals are actually taking precautions to lock it up.
So what do we take from this? Cronkite News had this 2015 documentary, won all sorts of journalism awards, DuPont, Arizona's top Emmy. I mean, this thing was seen by over 1 million people. Every station ran this thing. The information is out there. It sounds like, though, there still is a little bit of a... What do we take from this survey?
Well, I think it's widespread, and Arizona is no different than what's occurring in this epidemic nationally, both on use, abuse, and knowledge of others who might be using it. I think some of the other takeaways is that a lot of people are really struggling with chronic pain, and how we promote other alternatives become really important. We also, as a takeaway, is that it appears few physicians are actually informing their patients about the addictive nature, and because it is addictive, not a lot of people are actually locking it up.
Yeah. Well, very interesting stuff. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
In northwest Arizona, just off State Route 95, stands a peculiar monument to the town of Oatman. Oddly, the marker is 15 miles from the town it honors. Wedged into the Black Mountains, the mining town of Oatman was established at the turn of the century. By the 1930s, nearly 2 million ounces of gold had been extracted from the surrounding mines. The price of gold and World War II forced the closure of the mines in the 40s. The town was delivered another blow when in 1952, a stretch of Interstate 40 opened, siphoning off Oatman's lifeblood, Route 66 traffic. It quickly became a ghost town. Route 66 is again its lifeblood. Nostalgia for the Mother Road and the Old West draw tourists from all over the world. They walk the boardwalks, hang with the local gunfighters, and are followed around by Oatman's most famous residents, the Burros, descendants of those set free by miners years ago. Being closer to Nevada than the town itself, Oatman's misplaced monument is long forgotten, but the town is remembered daily.
The Maricopa Association of Governments, or MAG, is a council of local governments that was founded in 1967 and celebrates its 50th anniversary today. Here to talk about MAG is the organization's chair, Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton, and former MAG chair and former Glendale Mayor George Renner. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Great to be here.
Give me a better definition. What is the Maricopa Association of Governments?
That is the convening table where all the cities across the valley get together and we make really important decisions as teammates. So it really, more than anything, MAG is the organization that ensures that cities work together for the betterment of the region.
So basically, come together and let's work together as opposed to always fighting each other.
That's it. That's exactly it.
How did this get started? I mean, that's a long time now.
Well, the impetus was forced upon cities and towns by a federal requirement to create councils of government for funding purposes. But I think what really got MAG going here in the Valley was the practical solutions developed to solve transportation problems, air quality problems, some social service problems, with local elected officials working together, as Mayor Stanton said, that was very productive.
It seems like whenever we talk about MAG, it usually does have something to do with transportation or air quality or something along those lines. Are there other issues as well, or are those the biggies?
Those are probably the ones that are the highest profile, but I'm chair of it now. I stand on the shoulders of giants like Mayor Renner, and we work on not only transportation, air quality, but now we work together on economic development. It used to be that cities were sort of rivals with economic development. Now the cities and the mayors work together as teammates so that we can recruit and retain the best business here in the region. Domestic violence protocol. We actually have one of the farthest reaching and most comprehensive protocols for domestic violence developed because police chiefs and local elected officials got together and wanted to be sure we had the best practices. Homeless policy as well. So you name it. When we need to work together as a team, as a region, MAG is the table where we get it done.
Especially long-range planning and long-range policy.
Yes, and in fact, George Renner led the election back in 1985 where we actually had a revenue source for transportation. It passed again in the 2000s. We're coming up against a deadline, so we're going to have to repeat the excellent work that Mayor Renner did as we looked forward to Proposition 500 over the next few years.
How difficult was it to get these municipalities together and hold hands and quit fighting each other?
Well, I have to give a great deal of credit to a gentleman by the name of Jack Dubulski, who was the executive director of MAG. He also was the executive director of the Arizona League of Cities and Towns. He was able to create, I think, the understanding among the elected officials then, and I think it's continued today, that you get far more done working together than you do working apart. And there was an old phrase thrown around in the 80s called balkanization, that the Valley was accused of, and in some cases rightfully accused, of having the very infighting that you're describing. Thankfully, I think most people recognized that is not a way to govern this valley in a way that will make it a better place to live and work for everyone.
When you see MAG now, is it what you envisioned for 2017 way back in the 80s?
You know, I'd have to say I think it's better.
Interesting.
As Mayor Stanton said, I think MAG's entree into economic development and some of the broader issues beyond the nuts and bolts of transportation and air quality, I think is critical, because those are things that also need to be solved on a regional basis.
What is MAG's authority? How binding are these agreements?
Well, it depends on the particular area. Some of them are federally required. So for transportation, we have to have a regionally approved policy for either new freeways or a transportation policy. So we legally have to do that. But other areas, it's voluntary. We have come together on economic development as a coalition of the willing, if you will, because we realize that it makes no sense to do self-defeating subsidies to get a company to move from one side of the Scottsdale border to the Phoenix side of the border. So we've come together as teammates in that regard. MAG is the table where the mayors and city council members come together. We break bread. I mean, we actually spend time together and we get to know each other. We like each other. I like the other mayors in the region. I like my teammates that I'm lucky enough to have. So MAG is that unique convening table, certainly in areas where it's legally required, but now well beyond that. And it makes us a better and stronger region because it exists.
Without that authority, though, without the binding agreements, I mean, do you have to keep people in line a little bit? Do you have herd cats every once in a while?
Absolutely, and puppies.
Yes.
But, Greg, I think, mentions the fact that the social aspect of it, and you know, the citizens and the voters sometimes don't realize how important it is for elected officials to build relationships, and particularly when you're bordering a city like the city of Phoenix and Glendale, Phoenix and Scottsdale, Tempe and Mesa. I mean, the problems overlap boundaries. People don't understand that 43rd Avenue is the city limit. The valley's all one to most people, and so it's critical that you understand the differences and the similarities so you can get things
Wait a minute, 43rd Avenue is the city limit? I learned something here today.
I was going to say, I got to write that down. Real quickly, was this modeled after anything that any other region was doing?
You know, that's a very good question. I think it was probably modeled in a way to keep it as simple and as efficient as possible. Other councils of governments in the country, and they're all over the country, can have other jurisdictions involved. By that I mean like authorities or judicial participants. And MAG was deliberately formed to be cities and towns only.
So today is MAG's birthday, 50 years old today. Go to the MAG website and you'll see a video that talks about their early years. And it's the history of MAG is really the history of our valley, and it's worth learning about.
All right. Good to have you both here.
Thank
and
you.
happy birthday to MAG.
Happy birthday, 50
All
years
right.
young.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thursday on Arizona Horizon, get the latest on new tax laws, tax scams, and tax tips as the filing deadline nears, and we'll hear about a new documentary on campers with special needs. That's Thursday, 5:30 and 10 right here on Arizona Horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.